The mystery surrounding Ricky Nelson has finally been solved. Then the truth is deeply unsettling. Born Eric Hilliard Nelson on May 8, 1940, in Teaneck, New Jersey, Ricky was the son of Ozzie and Harriet Nelson, two well-known entertainers of their time. Practically born into show business, Ricky grew up immersed in entertainment, appearing as a child alongside his family in the popular radio and television series The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. The show, which depicted the everyday life of the Nelson family, became a beloved staple in American households during the 1950s and early 60s as he matured in front of millions. Ricky's good looks, natural charm, and talent made him an audience favorite. Unlike many child stars who struggled to break out of their early roles, Ricky Nelson transitioned successfully into a new identity as a serious rock and roll artist. At a time when rock music was considered rebellious by older generations, Ricky stepped up as one of the genre's most respected and enduring voices. His debut single in 1957, a cover of Fats Domino's "I'm Walking," shot to the top of the charts and announced the arrival of a fresh teen idol. From there, he delivered hit after hit: "Hello, Mary Lou," "Travelin' Man," "Poor Little Fool," "Lonesome Town," and "It's Late," each strengthening his image as a clean-cut, approachable rock star. Nelson's music helped bridge the generational gap, bringing rock and roll into mainstream living rooms thanks to his frequent television appearances. He was among the first teen stars to do so regularly, paving the way for future phenomena like the Beatles. By the time he was 21, Ricky had sold millions of records and ranked among the top-selling male solo artists of his era. However, the evolution of music in the mid-1960s challenged his dominance. Rather than chase fleeting trends, he chose a path of artistic growth, embracing the country rock genre. He formed the Stone Canyon Band and released the introspective 1972 hit Garden Party. It's a song inspired by a Madison Square Garden performance where fans rejected his newer work in favor of old hits. With the line, "You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself," Ricky reasserted his creative integrity. Beyond music, Ricky carved out a strong presence in film and television. His acting debut came in the 1952 film Here Come the Nelsons. It's followed by a small part in the 1953 MGM movie The Story of Three Loves, where he portrayed a young version of Farley Granger's character. In 1959, legendary director Howard Hawks cast him in Rio Bravo alongside John Wayne and Dean Martin. Nelson's fresh energy helped make the Western a box office success. He continued his acting journey in films like The Wackiest Ship in the Army, 1960, with Jack Lemmon, and in 1965's Love and Kisses, written and directed by his father, Ozzie Nelson. He also made guest appearances on shows like General Electric Theater, Hondo, The Overthel Gang, 1969, and The Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew Mysteries, where he not only acted but performed his music. Television roles in the 70s and 80s, including guest spots on The Love Boat, Petrocelli, and High School USA 1983, showed that his talent remained in demand. Ricky's career was a mosaic of music, acting, and enduring charisma. During his teenage years, he became a national heartthrob. Yet, despite the attention, Ricky's mother Harriet held significant influence over his personal life. She disapproved of many of the girls he dated, believing they lacked the class or character suitable for someone in Ricky's position. She emphasized discipline and decorum not just for the sake of family values, but to protect his career from scandal and distraction. Eventually, Ricky fell in love with Kristen "Chris" Harmon, the daughter of football star Tom Harmon and actress Elise Knox. The Harmons and Nelsons were longtime friends, and their 1963 marriage was widely celebrated. The union of two famous families captivated the public and was seen as a fairy tale. Ricky and Chris had 4 children: Tracy, who became an actress, twins Gunnar and Matthew, who achieved fame in the 90s with their rock band Nelson, and youngest son Sam, named after Ricky's father Ozzie. While the family projected an image of happiness, the reality was more complicated. As Ricky focused on his music career and touring, Chris struggled with family responsibilities and emotional strain. Reports of infidelity and distance plagued the relationship by the late 1970s and early 1980s. Their marriage had deeply deteriorated. The couple separated, leading to a protracted and painful divorce finalized in December 1982. Despite the bitterness, both parents remained committed to their children. The emotional toll of the breakup left a deep mark on Ricky and influenced the more melancholic tone of his later songs, the most tragic chapter of Ricky Nelson's life came on December 31st, 1985, when he perished in a plane crash. For years, questions surrounded the crash that claimed his life, his fiancée Helen Blair, and 5 members of his band. Initial reports blamed a mechanical failure possibly involving a faulty heater or electrical short. The plane, a World War II Douglas DC-3, caught fire mid-air and crashed near DeKalb, Texas. The 2 pilots survived, but all others on board died. Speculation ran wild. Was it drug use? Was the plane sabotaged? Was it a case of gross negligence? The National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB) eventually concluded that a fire started in the cabin, likely due to the malfunctioning heater, but the exact cause remained undetermined. Rumors that drug paraphernalia was found on board led to unfounded claims about cocaine use. However, toxicology reports later confirmed there were no drugs or alcohol in Nelson's system. For years, mystery clouded the tragedy. The truth only became clear thanks to determined investigations by aviation experts and journalists. They uncovered that the plane had a long history of maintenance issues. Mechanics and records revealed that the heater had been poorly repaired and jury-rigged in violation of safety standards. Positioned just below the cabin floor and surrounded by flammable materials, the heater ignited a fire that filled the cabin with toxic smoke. With no fire extinguisher on board and no fire retardant materials, the passengers had no chance. Ricky and the others likely succumbed to smoke inhalation before impact. The pilots escaped through cockpit windows, but for those in the cabin, it was already too late. The most harrowing revelation was not just the mechanical failure, but the human negligence that allowed a known dangerous plane to remain in operation. It was a tragedy waiting to happen. What was once a mystery is now a heartbreaking confirmation. Ricky Nelson's death wasn't the result of personal recklessness, but of systemic failure and careless disregard for safety. Ricky Nelson's legacy lives in as a trailblazing teen idol, a rock and roll pioneer, a talented actor, and a beloved American icon. But the final chapter of his life serves as a powerful cautionary tale. Sometimes when mysteries are finally solved, they don't bring comfort, they bring sorrow. In Ricky's case, the truth adds weight to the loss of a man whose star never dimmed, only to be taken far too soon by a tragedy that never should have happened.